Hi, I'm Charles and we're back for the next Short Fuse devlog. This month we focus on the development of a new computer program that helps link your runs together and continue to make progress with the transition to the next phase of the game. Let's jump right into it with the new computer program.
Most of my favorite roguelike games have systems tying together multiple separate runs, like a permanent progression system, item unlocks maybe. And for a long period of Short Fuse's development, it hasn't really had the same kind of thing. Going deep in a run doesn't give you much in the way of in-game rewards besides get you a nice high score. So, we've been working for a while now on a tiered progression system called the Employee Benefits Program. You can unlock permanent upgrades with loyalty tokens, which is a currency just for this system that you can get by switching tracks, snipping rare optional wires, taking down bosses, and perhaps more. You can then activate a limited amount of the benefits that you choose. Think like Deep Rock Galactic's perk system. You can also swap around chosen upgrades mid-run for a small fee. After a couple upgrades are unlocked for each tier, a new permanent upgrade is unlocked regardless of whether you enable it or not. These can be things like enabling super wires, which are super rare, but they diffuse the entire wave when you snip them. And then you unlock the next tier and you can keep going from there. We're super excited for deeper playtesting, as well as unlocking all these in our own save files.
Right, and to make that all work, we need a UI to bring it together. Short Fuse has been going with a more retro-styled UI design for the computer, so we continue that here as well. Just in a bit of a different direction than usual. Instead of a standard Windows XP styled application, this one uses pre-rendered graphics to give it a more distinct feel. Some games like Donkey Kong Country use this aesthetic for the whole game, but here it's just for this one program. And that's lucky for me because this took quite a while and isn't quite done yet. For the process itself, the models were created and rendered in Blender before being touched up and imported into the game. The longest part here was definitely creating the shaders and materials. Since the assets are shown at such a low resolution, it's important that the details are exaggerated so they show up properly in the model. This meant a lot of tweaking with the shaders to make sure it appeared just right. It's also not something I've done before in Blender, so it was a large learning experience altogether. But I think at least so far it's coming out pretty well. For the design itself, the app has a more mechanical feel with gears, pipes, and valves. I thought this kind of design would lend itself well to 3D graphics with shiny metals and more realistic parts. But this is still a bit too detailed, so why don't we take a look at them in the game? Okay, so back in Unity we can finally implement it into the game. Here's how it looks currently, but how does it work under the hood? Well, each computer app uses a standardized MVVM architecture. We have the UI itself as a view, the data for each section as models, and presenters to handle intermediate logic and to push data from the models into the views properly. A model, presenter, and UI is created for each part of the app and is then combined as a full app. The app communicates in the background with the player's save file and reward assets to figure out what is unlocked, how many loyalty coins are available, and other details. As an example for how this works, we have a single reward tile here. What you see visually is the view, or UI. That contains the background image, the help button, the reward icon, the reward name, and this lock indicator. The presenter contains references to each of the modifiable parts of the view and holds a reference to the model. Functions for on-click behavior and refreshing are contained here too. The model only contains data about the reward. That includes the name, description, and icon. And with that, let's go through one interaction. When a reward is clicked while locked, the presenter's on-click function is called. A check is then made to see if it can be unlocked, and then if it can, the reward is set to the unlocked state in the model. The model and view are then synced through the presenter, so the unlock propagates up and is reflected in the UI. And coming back out to a bird's eye view, right now the front end and back end of the Employee Benefits Program are working but haven't been fully connected yet. So you can see here that the loyalty coins aren't processed, and even though rewards can be unlocked, they don't have any effect in game, not to mention the lack of icons for the unlocks. We're working to finish that up and start testing soon, so watch out for some more updates in the next devlog. Oh, and let us know if you have any cool ideas for rewards too.
The new app is cool and all, Charles, but I have perhaps the greatest news in Short Fuse history. The cake now splatters onto the table. We are earning our wish lists now. They can even splat onto the fax machine and other objects. This kind of lasting effect makes the cakes feel more like cakes, as well as making your desk more chaotic as your diffusal continues. It's a reminder of your past diffusals. The splats will be automatically cleaned up after 5 waves, while you're busy looking at the computer and not the table. Part of why this is exciting is that now we have an example to build off with the existing prefab and the cleanup system, so adding more decals is as easy as just drawing them. Okay, Mike, they're ready for it now. I'm just not sure they're gonna want to watch any devlog ever again after we peaked like that.
Well, I'm not sure if I can top that, but I've been working on the transition into the game's other track. The idea was to show a glimpse of the factory that you're working in, so here's how I built the scene. First, I gathered references of large research facilities and warehouses, both real and fictional. Then I imported the offices from all of the Short Fuse games. Next, I instanced these offices with some procedural scaffolding to make many rows of offices. After that, I created roller coaster tracks using curves and geometry nodes. Then, I instanced the collections that those objects were in to add entire stacks of offices and roller coaster tracks. Finally, I sorted the materials and realized the instances so I could export and import into Unity. After that, I was ready to start animating the cutscene using Cinemachine. I'll go over that in the next one.
And that's all for this short fuse devlog. We had details on our new employee benefits computer app, improvements to the game's feel through the cake splatter VFX, and a look into the transition to the game show. Look forward to more improvements next month as we polish what we've started and look to improve short fuse even further. Oh, and before I forget, we fell a bit behind on the termite boss, which we mentioned in our Sushi Golette time-lapse, but we should be ready to show off more details next month, so stay tuned for that too. Other than that, thanks for watching and see you all next time.